Hey guys, today we will be covering the adventures of time traveler Snake, a survivor who underwent a course of medicine prescribed to him by a doctor. A mysterious man who goes by the name of Skylord. Some have questioned the intentions of this mysterious doctor, and others have even called into question the validity of his credentials. Not much is known about him other than his self-proclaimed allegiance to the Denai Shah.
What is that?
Skylord, you're a genius.
Friends of Snake have claimed that the good doctor was actually trying to kill him, while others contend that the doctor was merely trying to enlighten him. And still others have even questioned the very existence of Dr. Skylord, making the absurd contention that he was merely a voice inside of Snake's head. But the good doctor himself asserts that not only was he trying to enlighten Snake, but that he, in fact, succeeded in that endeavor. My friends, you will be the judges of all that and more. But for now, let us get into the meat of this strange occurrence and see if a closer scrutiny of the events can't help us solve the mystery. Let's begin with the night in question. Snake was headed home after a long and stressful evening of killing Zeds, and despite what others may have told you, Snake definitely does not subscribe to the notion that zombies are still people. For better or for worse, Snake kills zombies, and he kills them with a prejudice, and he perhaps kills a little too many, according to his friend, the good doctor. But whether the good doctor is in fact a zombie sympathizer or not is neither here nor there. The truth is, the good doctor's advice has saved Snake's life, among others, on more than one occasion. We all remember the now infamous ragdoll incident.
No way this fucker phased through.
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake?
Yes, that ragdoll incident where Snake was bitten and subsequently scheduled
For death.
That is, until the good Dr. Skylord had intervened.
Well,
The doctor had prescribed a course of medicine
I'm
to
gonna
seek
use it.
out, to destroy, and to loot the hazmat zombie. On the zombie would be a medication. The medication would reverse the effects of the zombie virus, though the bite itself would take longer to heal. Snake followed the doctor's advice, and for that reason and that reason alone, Snake is still with us. Now, regarding the night in question, the good Dr. Skylord had recommended Snake a new course of medication, one believed to have
Right.
the desired effect of mellowing him out.
and when I find the person that stole my Ritalin and took them all, who definitely wasn't me, I'm gonna make them pay.
Now, Snake was skeptical, and so were others.
Oh,
And still
whoa.
others begged Snake not to trust the good doctor.
You guys are seeing this, right? Like, I'm not just high. Am I hallucinating? Ah,
And while Snake was not a trusting person, and he certainly did not trust the good doctor as far as he could
go
throw
to
him,
sleep, sweet prince.
sorry doctor, he had his own reasons for following the doctor's orders. And I could name those reasons here, but they would shock you. Some things are left better unsaid. Anyway, the course of medicine was this: a home-brewed cocktail. 1 part oxycodone, 1 part MDMA, 1 part a fifth of whiskey, and 1 part sleeping pills, and in that order.
Here we go.
Now, I know what you're thinking. The doctor was definitely trying to kill Snake, and in retrospect, I thought so too. But what happened next, nobody could have predicted, not even the good doctor himself. At least, I don't think he
I
could
didn't
have.
take that much oxy.
What happened next was that Snake passed out, obviously, but that's not the unbelievable part. The unbelievable part is that when he came to, it was January. 5 months somehow had passed since he blacked out. Everyone thought Snake must be hallucinating. But the day since waking came and went, and the next day was January the 2nd. Could his watch be wrong? Maybe. But then it started snowing. It was, in fact, without a doubt, January. But how do we explain the other strange differences that had occurred since the leap through time? Everybody remembers Snake's pet bull, Michael, the one that tried to gore Snake every chance that he got.
Mr. Bull, I don't like you, and you don't like me.
Yeah, that pet
Oh, he
bull,
almost got me.
Michael. But now, Michael was either gone or transmogrified. And strangely, unexplainably, now friendly towards Snake.
That's a good lad.
This begged even further examination. Had Snake slipped into some alternate parallel universe? M theory? Just what the hell was going on here? And what were we to make of the fact that the bunnies and the chickens were gone?
This is it right here.
Many, and I confess myself among them, assumed that Snake had eaten the bunnies and the chickens raw, like some primitive caveman in his drug craziness.
Oh, there's a chicken though. Come back, chicken. Go into your pen. There you go. There you go.
The most
Come on.
skeptical among us argued that they had merely been left to rot for months and died of starvation.
Son of a bitch.
Whatever the answer was, they were gone,
Look at that. Farmer snake.
and their whereabouts remain a mystery. And then what about the rest of Snake's missing loot? The other drugs, the food, and perhaps most importantly of all, his book collection. Some speculate that it was Snake himself that had disappeared the loot, like the bunnies and the chickens, and that he simply used the pages of his books as rolling papers. Others speculate that they were just lost by getting sucked into the time warp. To this day, the whereabouts of Snake's loot remains a mystery. But Snake, now officially codenamed Time Traveler Snake, was not a man to sit on mysteries. Snake is a doer, a man of action, and as a doer and man of action, he needed answers. So he went out in search of answers. At first, all he was met with was more brains-crazy zombies. They had no more answers than Bitey, the aggressive little ram,
You
who
guys see that?
many have since argued was none other than Michael the Bull himself, miniaturized and transformed
Little
into a
shithead.
cute but not so harmless little sheep. In any event, he certainly seemed to have the same
Dude, I'm gonna get
gore-happy
killed by the
spirit
fucking
as
animals.
Michael. And if time travel is possible, why not transmogrifying body swap animal mechanics too? Now, Snake did do a lot of drugs, but still he had not done enough to be able to translate animal speech in real time. So interrogating Bitey the ram, as much as Snake would have loved to, was not going to help. No, in order to find answers, Snake would have to venture further out into the sketchier, seedier parts of Muldrow, the kind of parts where you might find little baggies of what have now become known as Skylord's Little Helpers, and the users and the acolytes of such depravities.
If Skylord comes back, he's gonna be like, what the fuck happened?
Snake believed that perhaps such people could explain just what had happened to him and maybe what had happened for the last 5 months. Now, it was about a week into the time-traveling episode that Snake had found a working Geo Metro, what he called affectionately as the beater with a heater, which he then used to enter a midtown neighborhood where plenty of sketchy and skeezy drugged out survivors who were sleeping on dirty mattresses and eating and smoking every roach in sight happened to be living. And he thought to himself, this is the place. If there were any answers to be found, these were the people to provide them. That much was clear. Unfortunately for Snake and the survivors, though, there was a massive threat to the little colony at the time of Snake's arrival. As he entered the neighborhood, he was greeted to the sounds of near constant gunfire and the groans of a Zed insurgency hell-bent on overwhelming the hardy but strung-out survivors.
Like, look at this goon squad. These people, they're just smoking Zeds left and right.
Snake's first task was to find the leader of this colony, but that was a tall task. Reportedly, she was somewhere on the front lines leading the charge against the Zeds. Everyone else seemed too busy beating off the Zeds and smoking roaches to answer any questions. And as it got late and it got dark, Snake did the only thing that he could do. He hunkered down for the evening and waited for daybreak. But the mission was more difficult than it sounds because in the darkness of night, the Zeds had managed to break through the picket lines and assault Snake in his foxhole. But despite everything, he managed to survive. And the next day, he did find the leader of the colony, leading that desperate charge against the Zed insurgency on the front lines of the neighborhood.
They're just mobbing everything. Are you guys getting this?
This was the make or break winner take all gambit that she was staking the survival of their colony upon. And things were going well for a while. Everyone was kicking Zed ass and not bothering with their names. But there were losses along the way. In fact, the losses grew heavy. To a man, that group of survivors laid down their lives in the name of freedom and human flourishing, and the rights to eat and smoke roaches. It was a massive testament to their integrity that they rather die free than live in fear of the Zeds. And true to form, their leader, whose name Snake would only learn later was Meryl, perished without flinching when, as the sole remaining survivor, she took the fight to the Zeds in a forlorn bathroom against all logic and decency.
Oh shit, she died. I think. She died. She went into the bathroom and died.
In retrospect, you might say that it looked like suicide by zombie. And in the end, she, along with all the others in her colony, died without answering Snake's question. And what are we to make of all of that? Some speculate that they died in order to keep Skylord's secrets. Others speculated that the famous or infamous, depending on who you asked, Dungeons and Dragons Master Skylord was one and the same as the Dr. Skylord, Snake's physician. A D&D master whom, by the way, was known for his cruelty and sadism. Had this same Dr. Skylord orchestrated all of these events? From Snake's blackout to his time travel, to even moving the survivors of Muldrow to their deaths as a puppeteer does his marionettes.
Take Muldrow back for the living, dude.
And does not a name like Skylord suggest some sort of omnipotent power to begin with? But no, that would be silly, preposterous even. Skylord's not omnipotent, right? Right? He's not, right? Let's move on. Perhaps it was simply that Snake was still just tripping. You know, it was all one long acid trip that hadn't even ended yet, but was still going. In any event, legend says that Snake is to this day stuck in a time paradox, fighting zombies, beating off Bitey the Ram, and looking for his lost eye patch. I don't know about all of that, But now I'll ask you,
You know what I mean? I'm
do
Snake.
you believe that the good Dr. Skylord was trying to kill Snake?
All right,
Or
let's get in.
was he merely trying to enlighten him as he claims? And if so, did he succeed in enlightening Snake? Or is it just that Snake is dumb, stoned, and has no idea whatsoever what had happened? But anyway, all of this is really just to say as some sort of long-winded and crazy advertisement for the N&C Narcotics mod. It's a fun mod that expands your medicine cabinet and has some pretty interesting gameplay possibilities just waiting to be explored. So, what are you waiting for? Go out there and score already. But now that I've told Snake's story, I'm going to shout out my channel members. Thanks to Santiago Flo, Gamer Okami, Tyler Jump for Bacon Baconson, Serena Morgan, Blitzkrieg, Comfy13, Life Stereotype, The Opinionated Colby, Bad News Benji, Lil Pond Turtle, Dr. Nix, Richard Day, Alex DeLifty, Chili Mike, Jack Rossman, Plebe as usual, Alex Hernandez, Dr. Ganja, 610 Hobbies, Al Phil, Sierra 3, Jin, David Bazaldua, Kendachi, Dixie Rect, Joshua Sandoval, B. Shep, Tim Filatoff, Smoke1212, Jimbo, Nestle Crunch, Michelle, and Aroibus Mortem. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. And an extra big thanks to Life Stereotype, Plebe, Serena, and Comfy13 for all of the gifted memberships. I know that the homies appreciate it, and so do I. Anyways, thanks again, and now that all is said and done, I'm gonna get out of here. Alright, peace.
Loading my shit.
Hey, she's reloading her shit. Wait, that's a dude. What the?